On this week's show, we finally got a release date. D23 plans? And what about that Toy Box TV live figure? All this more in episode number 97 of the Inside Infinity podcast. Do you like Disney like we like Disney? Of course you do, or you wouldn't be listening to a Disney Infinity podcast. Well, if you like Disney like we like it, head on over to MediaMeltdownPodcast.com. Look for the Mousecast, a weekly show about all things Disney. Disney news, Disney movies, Disney parks, Disney rumors, co-hosted by the one and only friend of the show, a friend of mine, Stephen Krellin. Head on over to MediaMeltdownPodcast.com and look for the Mousecast. Hello everyone, welcome to Inside Infinity, episode number 97. I'm one of your two hosts this evening, Will Kelly, and joining me tonight is Mr. Jason Haynes. Jason, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
G'day, mate. What's up?
If it sounds like the winds are kind of out of our sails a little bit, it's because we've been dealing with some technical difficulties for, the better part of the last half hour or so. So we appreciate everyone who has been sticking it out with us in the chat room. Glad we got things working, though, because we do have lots to talk about this evening. And, we're excited to get things started. So, again, thanks everyone who's joining us. We'd like to say hello to a few of the people in the chat room this evening. Blue J97, welcome. What's up, Boondoggle Man? Excited for us to talk about some things you're tweeting about this week. Crystal Perry, what up, Daniel? Dragon Skull, full of gunk. JB, happy birthday, Jay. Good friend of the show, part of the Facebook group. Happy birthday, friend.
Yep, happy birthday.
What's that?
Just happy birthday.
Yeah. Jedi Rob, welcome. King of Tunas, haven't seen you in a while. The one and only Pirate Steven will be talking about him in a few minutes. Putz 2000, Sumerian, Sonic Photo, Tesla Blitz, Kingdom Keeper Parker, and Wildlife. Thanks everyone who is joining and again who stuck it out with us. Because we are already starting a little bit late, we're just going to go ahead and jump on into the news. But before we get started with that, we'd like to mention that the Inside Infinity podcast is brought to you in partnership with the Disney Infinity Fans Forum. Disney Infinity Fans is the #1 forum for all things Disney Infinity. If you like Disney community, you should head on over there and you can talk toy box making, you can talk rumors, you can talk news, pretty much anything, even trading over there. So make sure you check them out, and that's DisneyInfinityFans.com. All right, Jason, with that, let's go ahead and get started with the news, shall we?
Yep. Let's go.
Okay.
Go.
All right. Well, the first couple things we want to mention actually is, let's see here. Let's bring up the notes. Release date. We finally got a release date, Jason. I know you've been waiting. I've been waiting. I don't know. Did we win the pool? Did we win the bet?
Was there a pool? Was there a bet? I wasn't informed. I wasn't brought in on this game.
We kind of made a bet and a pool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I lost.
No, I don't know. We were saying late August. I think I was saying August 26th, which was the Tuesday before the release date. Here in the States, that is. The release date, as you can see on screen here, is August 30th, 2015. It's pretty interesting. We caught wind today, and we'll speak to about that in a few minutes, that they are in the final stages of kind of the release cycle, and that is giving it to the first parties. So the Xbox or the Sonys and the Microsofts out there, among others, to get their Q&A quality assurance acceptance, the little checkbox. So it's interesting. We finally got the release date. It is releasing on a Sunday here in the States. So for those that are curious, make sure you're planning your release schedule out accordingly. Retail.
It is the 28th in the UK also, by the way, and September 3rd in Australia.
So it is the same for UK. And this year you are getting the Shaft and you're getting it later. Not really the Shaft, but last year, maybe they alternate. Last year they saw you do the amazing collector's edition unboxing, and now they're going to give that glory to some people in North America or the UK.
It's a big slap in the face.
I'm sure they do it all because of you. So yeah, it is on a Sunday here in North America. I've been told by many people that Amazon will actually ship on that Sunday. I'm not really sure how that works. But just be aware that if you are depending on the retailer you're ordering it from, that it's releasing on the 30th. So make sure you plan that accordingly. So it's exciting news, though. It's awesome that we finally get the release date. Yeah, I don't know, Jason. It's right in that window. I'm really thankful that they are doing it ahead of September. September is the release for a few other Toys to Life games, but it's also the real huge start of the crazy video game season.
Is it clashing with anything? Do you know? I haven't even had a look.
No, and I wonder if that's part of the reason they're doing it on a Sunday. They did it on the Sunday the first year of release, and then this last year they did it on a Tuesday, I believe. For us, I think you got it like on Thursday and Friday. You in the UK got Thursday and Friday for 2.0.
Where do you buy your games, Will? What do you do when a game comes out? Are you an Amazon guy, or you've got to go into the store, or what?
I'm a instant gratification guy, so I go into store if I'm buying physical. Generally over here it's Best Buy, so just a big
I'm the
box
same.
store.
I have zero trust in online retailers.
Me too.
Like, particularly a game that I'm waiting for. Like, if I don't get it on the morning of release day, I'm disappointed. Which is why I think I like digital so much. And I'm probably going to buy. It's still unclear whether the digital version is going to be available in Australia day one. But even if it's not, I'll probably end up buying the US digital version on my US PSN account just to ensure that I get it because I want digital.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
As you know, like when you play Disney Infinity, it's like your second, like it's the second game. Like, so it's really annoying switching discs. So I didn't end up going digital with 2.0, but I'm definitely going digital in 3.0.
Yeah, well, the digital release was kind of wonky with 2.0, and now it's day and date of the physical. So yeah, I'm the same way. That's my plan this year. I don't want another base, although I know we don't have to buy another base. But yep, I have everything in the house other than the figure, so I'll do digital, get it pre-downloaded hopefully, and then just go out to the store and get all the stuff. I'm sure we'll be talking launch strategies as it gets a little bit closer and breaking down all the sales, because that's another reason to buy physical, Jason, is that there's some killer not only early exclusives, but we know there's going to be sales.
Totally.
Oops, that's our notes. Hey everyone, there's a peek behind the curtain. With that, let's move on to our next topic, Jason. First up is, or not first up, but today we got a D23 announcement. So we kind of learned, so the summit's the week of D23. It's earlier in the week, and then they are going to be having a panel once again this year at D23, which is pretty awesome. So they're going to have a Disney Interactive kind of area and pavilion. So it's called the Disney Interactive Pavilion on the show floor. One thing that's really cool about people like you and I, Jason, and I'm sure many fans of Disney Infinity, especially Disney Infinity Star Wars, is that fans are going to be able to not only play Infinity and the playsets with Infinity, get your hands on that in the toy box, but also a chance to play Star Wars Battlefront, which is pretty awesome. This is one of the first times that I know of that the general public has been able to play that. There's also some interactive items. Disney Infinity is going to have the interactive augmented reality where you can wield a lightsaber and play with Chewbacca among others. But some other really cool things is that fans will be able to. So this is from the press release. Fans will be able to experience Disney Interactive's most anticipated games at this year's D23 Expo. Disney Interactive will showcase playsets and more Star Wars characters new to the 3.0 edition. So that's kind of an interesting little tidbit there, Jason. I think you picked up on it. More Star Wars characters new to 3.0. So that leads me to believe that we're going to see some announcements there.
I completely agree.
Not only that, but guests will receive limited edition giveaways. So D23 is a biannual thing, so every other year it occurs. Last D23 coincided with the release of Disney Infinity 1.0. They had the exclusive Sorcerer Mickey D23 with the blue painted on stars. Guests this year, it sounds like they're going to be getting some other other exclusives there. It doesn't necessarily explicitly say a exclusive limited edition figure, but it's a possibility.
No, because what was that other event? Remember there was like everyone was all hyped after D23 Mickey, and then there was an event. They were like, we could give a giveaway. And it was like a poster or something.
I think wasn't that Maleficent screening last year? Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Something like that.
So one thing we actually didn't mention at the top of the show, and we'll close out the show, but Jason, you and I have been in podcasting mode all evening. We recorded a very, very special exclusive interview before this podcast started. We're not going to mention who that is, but I can tell you when it's going to release. It's going to release August 3rd, the Monday before D23. So we are going to broadcast it when we'll be in the live chat, so we can talk to everyone as we broadcast that. But that special guest mentioned that there's going to be something very, very, very special that they are showing at D23. And
can I tease it, Will?
Please do, Jason.
Can I tease it? Just you read into that, don't just. All right? It's just a little tease.
Next time you ask to tease something, I'm going to make sure I'm not taking a drink of water. That was hilarious. And let me clear the air, Jason, so no one yells at us now. Our hint had nothing to do with that supposed tease. So we have no idea what's happening. All we know is that it's something that retailers cannot spoil for everyone. So
Totally.
So that's that, Jason. You're funny. You're a funny man. You should be a comedian. I also want to say that at the summit, Jason, aren't they also going to be announcing the Ultimate Unlock this year? Or
wouldn't know. Not going to be there.
Jason is...
No. I think that's going to be at D23. I don't think that's a summit.
Oh, really? Okay. I don't remember. But
yeah, I can't remember either now.
Chat room, because I can't remember where that news came
They're
from.
They're kind of the one event. Like, I kind of imagine it sort of just as like the summit's going to be the start of the party and it's just going to roll into D23. You know what I mean? So it's just going to be one giant event in my mind.
Yeah, and probably connected. Crystal Perry is making a good point, saying they're really scared. Last year, or the previous year, the line for interactive panel was short, but now everyone knows about the game and it has the whole Star Wars piece of it. So worried about the panel this time. So we don't know what's happening there, but we do expect big things. D23 is, it's the Disney version of the Comic-Con. It's the Disney version of E3. So I'm sure they're going to be using that. The game's going to be weeks away at that point, so there's probably going to be very little. Well, I don't know. They are teasing announcements, so there's plenty of opportunity.
I think there's going to be announcements, but at the same time, it's just like you don't really want to know it all up front. I mean, obviously the Episode 7 playset, and that has to be kept under wraps until post, film release.
Yeah.
So, I'd rather there be news throughout the year for our sake, anyway.
Absolutely. No, I agree. I do want some announcements, but I absolutely don't want to know all of it. That's a great segue to our next point. But before we do that, just a little bit of info on our D23 plans. And although we're still getting the specifics nailed down, and we do have some other special things planned, we're planning a meetup that we'll give details on at a later date as soon as we get those nailed down. But we are also going to be doing a live broadcast, kind of a live roundtable every evening of not only the summit but also D23. It's going to be a collaboration. The D23 part's going to be a collaboration with the Media Meltdown Mousecast and Stephen C. and those guys. But the previous to that, the summit, we're going to have a nightly roundtable. Pirate Steve's going to be helping me co-host that. We're going to have some special guests, Jason from Infinity Acquire, hopefully Rob from CoinOp. We're also looking at maybe Chris Evilos, so among others. So we are wanting to include the community on that. So stay tuned as we nail down specifics on that. But that's what our D23 plan is. We keep getting tweets about it. Can't wait to meet so many of you and kind of revel in this Disney Infinity together, and then rub it in Jason's face to make him have once again inspiration for another rant, because that's what we live and breathe for. So Q-Lanu's going to be there as well. Yes, sorry, Logan. Logan is going to be there with us as well. He showed me the ropes. He and Pirate Steve were there last time, and so I'm like, whatever you guys decide, I'm game with. Cool. All right. So Jason, let's talk about another live event. Not D23, not technically San Diego Comic-Con, but something that coincided with San Diego Comic-Con. Toybox TV live on Twitch from San Diego Comic-Con. We're not going to really go over the whole thing. DizKingdom.com did, once again, an awesome recap, so head over to DizKingdom.com to read about that. Break down the entirety of the event. It was a really long event. It was almost 2 hours. It had some very special guests on there. Ronnie Del Carmen, co-director of Inside Out, was there and talked about that. We had some bridging of the gaming, titans. We had members from Sony and Microsoft there playing Disney Infinity together. Brandon and Andrew from Game Trailers TV was there. But the big news item, or little news item, is what Jason alluded to earlier. This amazing tease. I think we all know what this is, right? Yeah, Jason. I know fans of the show and the community was kind of up in arms about this. This was all they showed of the exclusive tease that they were going to have. And I guess some things fell through with legal. I'll bring it up on screen a little bit better so people can see it a little bit better, because it's essentially a small dot. Jason, let's hear it. What are your thoughts?
Well, sorry to disappoint, but honestly, I couldn't come up with a rant for this one because it completely went over my head. I must have missed all the preamble to this show because I wasn't expecting any announcement whatsoever, and so I didn't really get my bonnet in a knot, knickers in a knot. But it did spawn on some other thoughts in my mindset. So I'm going to talk about that instead. Because, apparently, and again, I didn't find this out till post, which I don't think anyone did, that something went down with legal or something like that. So they were not able, which is a great story that I'd love to hear one day when it's officially all announced, because it doesn't make sense. I mean, it's clearly Ant-Man,
right?
But what's the line in the sand here that means that we can't officially? Was it no? You can't show the figure, or it'd be nice to know what the backstory is on that. But anyway, it spawned on this thought of mine of what Disney are gonna do with this whole toy box live thing in the future, because they got the same issue that we've got. It's like, who is this for? Who is this show? What is this show that they're creating for? And I acknowledge that it's extremely difficult to create any sort of programming that is going to appeal to young kids and man babies like myself. 35 plus year old people, and it's like you got the hardcore, the passionate people that I completely respect, like myself, that love a good rant post feeling like they were cheated out of news. But also, does that mean is that all we want out of Toy Box Live TV? Right. Is it all we want to see is announcements? And if you're not announcing something or showing me something new, I don't want to watch you. And so, again, that's not a dig against us as viewers. It's more just a case of saying to Disney, it's like, well, you've set a standard now, regardless whether you wanted to or not. You've created a product that you're trying to promote, and it's just a question of the fans just want to be communicated to clearly. And so it's do they try to like jam everything into that one show, or do they go, no, we're going to run with this and break it up a bit more, so that that we know as fans that if you're tuning into Toy Box TV live on a Saturday morning for me, or whenever it is, Friday afternoon for everyone else, just understand that this is a relaxed, get-to-know-you environment where there's no pressure for news releases. Toy Box TV non-live is all about community focus and you know what I mean? It's just about setting those messaging goals so that we as an audience can choose what it is that we're tuning into, rather than having to tune into everything. Because getting through some of those Toy Box lives on a Saturday, which are over an hour long, is fine for me because it's my Saturday morning. I grab a coffee and I'll watch it type thing. But you don't want to feel like you're going to miss out on anything, so you don't want to feel like you're at ransom to watch all that content. It's just, you know what I mean? I just think and what are they going to do when this game's finished? When 3.0 is officially released and all the news is out, what are they going to do in those shows? You know what I mean? There's no programming, I'll use that word, at this point. And I feel like it's an awesome thing, but I think it needs a lot more development. And everything loses that risk. I mean, I love Matt Solly when he fills in. I call him the greatest understudy to JV of all time. But it's just like, even I want to go. I want to be able to define. Like, what annoyed me most about the Comic-Con thing was all these games. Games are cool, and that was fun to watch. But it just felt like this mishmash of just everything thrown into one show to see what sticks. It was like news announcements. It was people just stuffing around.
So are you, to clarify, are you referring specifically to Comic-Con or to the Toy Box TV Live?
No.
Okay.
The Comic-Con Toy Box Live show.
Okay, sorry.
Just the fact that everything was just all thrown in there, and it's just like, it was long. Like, I literally lost my work day due to, like, because I was waiting for that to go live, and then by the time that was finished, it was like well past lunch. I just gave up on the day. But the fact that there was all those games and stuff like that, it just felt, I don't know whether they were. I mean, I think JV said in the stream they were overtime.
Yeah. Yep.
And again, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It was fun to watch. It was a fun experience, but it didn't have a clear message.
Yeah, and
which I appreciate. And purpose. It didn't have a clear message and purpose.
And so
it just seemed all over.
And you like the fact it was all over the place? You appreciate
that? No, I don't
that?
like that.
Okay.
I don't.
So, and Boondog Man in the chat tweeted at us. It sparked a great, healthy conversation. We appreciate that. But he's making a point that don't send out tweets to allude to a big announcement and then do nothing. Because then you are kind of setting false expectations. It sounds like that was not intentional.
Intended,
Jason and I, we had a conversation earlier today about it's this fine line you walk where it's like you want to communicate to the community as much as you can, but sometimes communicating at all, it comes back to bite you, and it's more of a detriment than not communicating. So I'm not throwing my hat in this ring. I'm just saying that I think you're sometimes I can't think of a family-friendly way of saying this.
It's a question of value. What is the value for them? What is it like? Because it's just like they don't have to do it. We understand that they don't have to do it. And if we were really vocal, like over the top vocal about the situation, then they've got every right to just go, well, it's not worth it. It's more headaches than it's worth. However, that's where I say they need to decide what they're doing. Are they going to, is it valuable for them? Is that form of contact valuable to them, or is it all about just the money? Like, clearly it's not making them any money.
Right. So it's something for the community and the community alone, really.
But and I said on Twitter, like, because if anyone that hung around till the end of it, there was some vicious comments going on in the Twitch chat, but I honestly look at that as growth.
Yeah.
Because for so long, the Disney Infinity community has been a super polite, super great community. And when you start seeing the trolls coming from underneath the bridge, it means that, this is cool. We're actually reaching
the broad audience.
Like a broader audience than Disney Infinity has in the past.
Yeah.
So I think it's a positive thing, but ultimately Disney need to work out what are they actually going to do, because it's inevitable that those people are going to be there. The bigger the game gets, the more vocal and abusive the community is going to be.
Totally. And Boondog Man's making another good point. Would rather just be surprised. And that's one thing that I've really taken away from this Toy Box TV Live. Jason, you and I have talked about a lot this year. Due to personal reasons, we have made Summit and D23 our focus this year, and that means we haven't gone to other events. We've had representation there, but we haven't been able to make those trips. But unlike last year or possibly the year before, I don't feel like you're missing out as much because there's a direct communication. I feel like I played the game at this point because I've seen play sets played so many times, so much, and that's a good and a bad thing. I mean, I think it gets to a point where you as a audience member must decide whether or not, okay, I've been spoiled enough or I'm not spoiled enough, so I'm gonna continue to watch or not watch.
Yeah, it comes back to what I said before. It's like I think everybody's feeling the fatigue of seeing the same playset being played on Toybox TV live. I think everyone's feeling that fatigue, and that's where I say that it's just they're clearly, credit's due. They're clearly developing as they go, but like they're gonna have to fix that because I ain't gonna continue to watch the same. Like if that's what their plan is, it's like, oh, every week we'll play the same playset over and over and over again. It's like even I'll bow out at some point.
Yeah, but you say that now, and I don't argue that, but right after 4.0 announcement, every little bit of gameplay we can get our hands on, and so you're right, it is like it's a nut I don't think they've cracked yet, but I don't know. I would rather have what they bring to us than not have it.
Absolutely. And ultimately, and this is what I guess, and this is what I'm saying, like I just think that just a little bit of fine tuning, because ultimately it's the personalities that I enjoy watching.
Yeah, me too.
It's not really a bit. Toybox Live isn't necessarily, it's great when there is new game stuff to show, but ultimately it's about really enjoyable getting to know the community, the Disney community behind the game that we obviously are invested in.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, I think we beat that to death. So let's go ahead and move on to our last news item of the week. Speaking of unannounced characters, this is coming at us from a write-up from Jason over at InfinityInquirer.com. It's really cool. So for those that know or have seen it, this was at E3. It was also at San Diego Comic-Con. JV even tweeted, "All fans, please look at this carefully," and it was a picture of this stand here that shows many a figure. It shows every released figure and every announced figure. It's separated by Star Wars, Disney in the middle, and Marvel. And it's pretty interesting, Jason. The center section's all Disney, and it's the largest section. And that's something that's really kind of interesting to me because it's a constant topic of conversation. There's not enough Disney. But let's break down what this is, what this display and what JV. I don't know if this is what JV was getting at, but what the conversation was led to is essentially this breakdown here. There are 116 pedestals on the display, including 29 figures from Disney Infinity 1.0, 30 from 2.0, or 30 from 2.0, 28 announced figures for 3.0. Some missing figures are the 8 crystals and Black Suit Spider-Man. And so, if you looked at this display and you saw every one of these things as an empty spot, then that leads to a lot of figures. And let's take a moment to look at this, Jason. If you look at the Star Wars, I personally don't see a pattern. I see, for the first column, I see 3 figures and then a blank Star Wars, 1 figure, then a blank, and then another figure. Next column is 1 Star Wars blank, 3 figures, 1 Star Wars blank, 2 figures, and 1 Star Wars blank. So, like, I don't see any connection to the one on the right. Then the next one, it's the same sort of mishmash. The only real pattern I'm seeing is there's a Star Wars diagonally here. There's a Star Wars diagonally here. Nope. Yep, it lost on the third row. And then if you carry that over to the second section here, it's a much bigger section, but I'm still not seeing a Disney pattern. The right Marvel one, I'm still not seeing a Disney pattern. So a lot of people, and what this article alludes to, is that all these blanks are characters. And so if we continue on with this kind of breakdown of this display that Jason did such an amazing job on, what's left in this display? If you're reading into it, there's 9 Star Wars figures awaiting. And so if we scroll back up, so we have none of the. Do we have the Rebels in here? I can't see it. No, we don't.
What's the total count of slots? Is that stat there?
Yeah. Well, so it's 9 Star Wars, 4 Marvel, and 16 Disney. So that's going to be
No,
29.
no, I mean the total thing. Is it around 100, like, overall? What's the total number,
Oh,
including the figures?
oh, good
Well, I
question.
guess it's what. Well, it's be just however many figures. I think there's 70. Oh no, that's the
116 pedestals.
okay. Cool. That's what I'm doing. Yep.
Um, yeah. So,
And
total.
are there crystals in the display? Did he mention that? Because I haven't studied it at
No,
all. Are
there's
there
not. He did
crystals?
mention that they are absent, and so is Black Suit Spider-Man. So,
Okay.
but why would you not? My guess is they're not going to include those in this pedestal because why would they be hidden otherwise?
Yeah.
I think they're not in this pedestal. I think they're not including special editions because I really highly doubt the D23 Mickey Mouse is in there either. So,
Yeah.
or so yeah. So anyway, so basically, it breaks down to there's the possibility of 9 new Star Wars, 4 new unannounced Marvel, and then 16 Disney characters, which is pretty spectacular. JV said it's been publicly announced that there will be over 100 unique figures for 3.0, and this gets us well over that limit. So I don't know, man. What do you think? Do you think that there's going to be? Do you think there's a total of what's the math again? 24 new characters? No, 29 new characters that have yet to be announced.
Honestly, sounds high to me, but um, because I'm thinking, like, for that display, like, if you filled all those spots, um, there's no labeling left. You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't you want at least
Mm-hmm.
one Star Wars label showing that this is the Star Wars section, this is the Disney Pixar section, and this is the Marvel section? I don't know, but it kind of looks doable.
Doable, and because there's so many Disney figures, who in the chat, Sumerian is saying that makes him think that there's at least one more Disney playset.
I wonder if that Zootopia, you know, that is it Zootopia, whatever that zoo film that's coming out. I wonder if they're going to have a playset for that.
You mean the Disney DreamWorks film? I don't like that movie. It makes me think of a DreamWorks movie.
It
Doesn't
totally
seem very
does, doesn't
Disney.
it?
Yeah, King of Toon is saying I think there's another playset possible. The
With
signs
that
have
many,
pointed.
if they are Disney characters, I'd be shocked if there's not a playset because
Mhm.
I think you get a lot of backlash. Just like last year, it's like, where's my Disney playsets?
Mhm.
Because we've only got what, Inside Out? Am I right? Is that
Yeah,
the only announced Disney specific playset? And that's technically Pixar, which, you know, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. But
yeah,
yeah, I think we are probably going to get another Disney playset.
yeah, totally. And we know, and it's presumable that many of the unannounced Star Wars playsets are the Force Awakens, and then the Marvel.
Yeah, the biggest case for it is the
Age of
Marvel side
Ultron.
of things because we know that there's a Marvel playset coming. That's probably going to, well, that is going to have 2 figures.
Yeah, well, at least Age of no, yeah, Age of Ultron and or Ultron and Hulkbuster.
Oh, yeah, but they're already on there.
Are they? I don't see them on here. I don't think they are. Oh yeah, Hulk.
Isn't
Oh
that?
yeah, they are. There's Hulkbuster.
Yeah. So I think
could
we'll
I-
get
how'd I miss
if it's
him?
an Ant-Man playset, then maybe you get Ant-Man and what's the villain in that?
Oh, is it,
Yellow Jacket or something like
yeah.
that.
I wanted to say Wasp, but
Um,
that's not.
and then
She's
2
not.
other random Marvel characters. Like that seems like a best case scenario
Yeah.
for Marvel to be represented. And even though that's pretty impressive because that'd be a total of 6 figures in 3.0 for Marvel, and it's not
Yeah.
even a Marvel branded place platform
Yep, totally.
release.
Which I think is a good sign for future iterations, 4.0 and beyond, for all properties involved, Marvel, Star Wars, and Disney.
Yeah.
So
Still, 29 characters unreleased. That's awesome. If
That
they
is
can
awesome.
drag that out, keep it secret, that makes for an exciting 2016.
yeah, yep, absolutely, and plenty of opportunity to keep that momentum for a long period of time. Because we still don't know when the Marvel playset's going to be released, and if there is another Disney playset, then that could definitely carry on well into 2016. Well, awesome, Jason. That's going to wrap up this week's Inside Infinity podcast. It was a good show.
It was, I guess. Yeah, no, definitely.
we had some good conversation. Again, sorry folks, no roundtable. It's because we're just juggling things right now. But we will have roundtables again very soon. We're going to have a very special roundtable on August 3rd. So again, stay tuned for that. We'll see how next week goes. We'll see if we can get a roundtable going again for that one. We have a lot of guests and friends that we haven't had on in a while, so maybe we'll just throw a hodgepodge of how excited are we for D23 this year. So thanks everyone who joined us in the chat room. We really appreciate you not only sticking it out earlier in the show, but also all the way through. We love seeing the conversation, what's going on in the chat room. So thanks again. Jason, my friend, thanks again for co-hosting another episode with me.
It's been fun.
All right, buddy. Well, with that, I think we're going to call it an evening, call it a morning for you. And we hope everyone enjoyed this week's episode. And until next time, we hope your week is filled with infinite possibilities. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Inside Infinity podcast. If you like what we do, please like us and subscribe to us. Look for us on Twitter and Facebook. I'd like to thank all of our patrons. If you would like to be interested in joining as a patron, you can click on the link to head over there. Also, check out our partner network, Res.tv, if you like other Disney-related shows or video game podcasts.